I study a lot of things, but there's like the individual self, and then there's the personality, but it's constantly evolving, you know, and we're being refined, and we're transcending different states of consciousness, how we think, and we're evolving, and we're being like seasoned, you know. And in the Bible it says, being transformed into thy image. You know, it says God is spirit. So do you feel that? I mean, obviously, you've gone through those changes, and then you're just getting prepared.
Yes, yeah, that's right. Yeah, and the idea is to be Christ-like, and boy, there's a challenge. I've heard people say, "Oh, Christianity it's nothing but a crutch trying to help weak people get through life," or similar comments.
I've heard.
And I can honestly look them right in the eye and say, "You haven't tried it, have you?" Because it takes everything we've got to try to meet such a high standard, and we'll be challenged to really prove that our faith is real, and that we need to work hard, faithfully, every day, and almost every moment, to be what we think we could be and should be. Yeah, so it's not an easy road, but it's a beautiful road. Yeah.
You put it on the mind of Christ consciousness. So Paul in the Bible say, dying to self, I die daily. And I know I've had to do that, because the thinking and the ego and the individual personality, you know, that's just temporary. It wants to take charge. Psychological death.
The old man keeps popping up.
The old man,
You gotta mean it deep down.
Yes.
To make it work. Yeah.
Yes, and you're right. People say a lot of things, but until you actually put the rubber on the road and do what you did, and I was a minister too I still am, but hardcore every day for a year and a half, and boy, oh boy, there's some challenges.
Yeah.
But you really got to do it, if you're gonna have an opinion about it.
Yeah, that's right.
But what was the main thing, you know, loving one another.
Yeah. Oh, that is the key. And you know, I learned in seminary when I studied Greek, there are 4 different words for love in the Greek language. It helps me understand that. Storge is what we might call family love. And mostly is sharing life, and having to get along requires us to begin to think about each other and get along with each other. And then there's eros, which is we get our word erotic, which is a fleshly love. And then Philadelphia includes the word philios, which is the Greek word for brotherly love. And often I think of Jonathan and David in the scriptures, how they were so bound together by their appreciation and respect and kindness for each other. It was powerful when you read the story. But agape is God's love.
That's right.
That is a love that no matter what, we want the highest good for somebody, you know. And when we hear the phrase, love your enemies, it requires agape to do that, because you're not going to feel like putting your arm around them or, you know, go buy them a Cadillac or nothing like that.
That's right.
But you want the best for them, which often means you want to be a brother in Christ, you know, or a sister to them. So yeah, it's a big challenge. Yeah, you know, you asked me the question, where's your wife? I never heard or thought of that before. That was beautiful.
A lot of times it just comes out, and I'm so like raw or natural. Like, if people don't talk like that, and forgive me, but sometimes it's better.
Yeah.
You know?
And you know, I just saw a joke, a 4-picture comic. The first one, the man's leaning over the back of a chair and his wife's sitting there. He said, I saw our neighbor in the store and we struck up a conversation. And then as it moves along from picture to picture, he says, I asked about her husband, and she says, he's gone. And I thought she meant maybe on a trip. So I said, why didn't you go with her?
Yeah, that's it.
And then
really?
his wife
Yeah.
screamed, Earl!
Yeah.
Why did you say that?
Inappropriate.
Big mistake.
Inappropriate, right? Yeah. Oh my good Lord.
But you know, it is such a comfort to know that someone believed and tried to live the life that God called them to live. It's so much peace. I wish everybody that had to say goodbye to someone they loved would have a feeling that they're safe, they're cared for, they're where they belong. You know, it's such a comfort, and I'm so grateful. That's what my wife did for me.
Oh, that's so wonderful. You total assurance, huh?
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
Yeah, it's a lot, man. You know, because I never been married, and to hear, you know, someone who had a real love story like that, and they were faithful and committed, and just really loved each other the whole time. And of course, you know, it ain't easy all the time, but you know, I've seen. But I mean, it's really I respect that.
It's a treasure. Yeah, and some people, you know, no fault of their own at all, but can't seem to locate the right person. You know, they try and maybe team up with somebody and create a nightmare.
That's exactly right. Not that I know about that. Your calling, though. So you like it's like, because there's people that go into other faiths and other even religions and stuff like that, and it's like motivational speaking or different things that they're called by God to do, and it's like you can't stop them, man. You know, they're supposed to do that thing, whether to one person it seems right or wrong. If it's that just pulling of the Spirit, so that's wonderful. I like to end with me and you were talking about Mark Twain, like a Mark Twain joke, and he said, you know, I might paraphrase a little bit, but he said, do you know the difference between people that pray in the casino and people that pray in church? People that pray in the casino actually mean it. Man, he's good, dude.
They're desperate.
You know, please God, right? You know, so, you know, but I mean, I want to tell you I love you, man.
Yeah, and thank you. And he was a good example of a man full of wisdom.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, he rose above the average person, and I remember often one of the things he said that you're not an expert speller until you spell every word 3 ways.
That's right.
And that's interesting. He was accepting.
Yeah. Oh man, that's good. Yeah. He might me like Solomon, how he just knew a lot about almost everything.
Yeah, that's it. It was one of the things he asked for, and it was received. Yeah, it's a challenge.
If you had to give advice to anyone out there, whether they believe in God or not, on what to focus on or something they could do, you know, not to put you on the spot, but I am. What would you tell them? You know, it don't have to be one of the 3 best things that you could think of. What would you tell them? Yeah.
Well, in my mind, if they're willing, say to them, you know, the time may come when you feel that you're willing to try the Christian life and explore and think through. You know, like I hear people say, oh, there's no God. What's the proof we got? But could you imagine somebody taking an acorn and arguing, this is going to be a tree 50 feet high, you know, someday. And that's planned in that tiny thing. Or, you know, in creation, you look at a hummingbird or any bird or creature almost, a tiny, tiny eye that sees so accurately. Or they can find a flower, just zip from one to another and not land in the wrong place, you know. And their powerful thrust can go forward, backwards, up and down. There's something amazing about every creature, and the fact is that no human mind has been able to come up with things like that.
That's right.
You know, we've done wonderful things, but there's always a mystery and always a search to go further, you know, and after thousands, and scientists tell us billions of years, we're still working on the basics too, having war and violence and hatred and murder and things that we should have been able to outgrow if we were really wise.
That's right.
You know, that we should have evolved and matured to a greater extent. Yeah, well,
It's
a
wonderful.
lot of good questions you got, my
Man,
friend.
you know what I mean? And thank you so much, because, you know, we didn't script this, you didn't plan this. I just told you a little bit, and I like doing it like that. It's more fluid. Like, and humans, like, they don't know what a miracle they are. They're so
Yeah.
wonderful, and what a mystery. It's like, to me, God is the unknown,
Yeah.
the unseen and the unknown, and it's so beautiful. I mean, it's like, it's can't be described, can't be, but how do I move my hand? I don't know, I just do it. It just happens, you know, it's a miracle.
Yeah, sure, yeah. Even the simplest things we take for granted, if somebody really thought that out.
Yeah.
Yeah. No question, there's wisdom behind it. And you know, some deniers even refuse to believe that there's organized thinking, you know, in our planet, that it just kind of all happened. I remember one of my professors at school said that the way creation came, some gases cooled and they became liquid, and they cooled more and became a solid. And when I graduated, I was a chemical major, and the last professor I had started the class by pulling up his knee like this. There were only 5 of us left. As freshmen, there must have been 5 or 6 classes of 50, 60 students, you know, freshman chemistry. But at the end, he said, "Gentlemen, we taught you the molecular theory, but I'm ready to tell you now, it doesn't work.
Oh boy.
It can't be." And the reason is the atom is the center, of course, and on the orbits around it are the electrons, and their distance has to remain the same as they move. Otherwise, they become radioactive. They start moving up and down those rings. And he said, so that table has to be about 99% air.
Yes.
The space in there can't be violated. It has to remain the same in the theory. But that's what theory is. It's an explanation, kind of like a guess based on what we see and observe, that we can talk about it and mutually understand each other and benefit from what we think we see.
Yes.
But he was, I remember sitting there being one of the 5 students, shocked that after all our hard work, all the tests and all the books and all the study, now it won't work.
Let me tell you the truth. Yeah. And they still don't know. It's electricity inside of atom, and I studied that. I studied Tesla, and I studied a lot of stuff. I'm surprised that you did that. I'm glad you told me that. We talked about it, but they still don't know exactly how it works.
Exactly
The
right.
intelligence within the energy is supernatural.
Yeah.
So wonderful.
Another good example, and I saved the book, Nuclear Physics. It was the name of the book and the subject, and it explained for years, and I don't know if they're maybe still teaching it, that matter can either be created or destroyed. Matter can be converted to energy, but it's still there, the same amount, just now in 2 forms. But then, when they got the cyclotrons and everything, they started discovering there was a loss of energy in those reactions. And so they came up with a theory of a little critter, I'm going to call it, called the neutrino. And they had, like, I don't have it anymore in my mind, but let's say 10 to the 32nd power means 10 squared is 10 to the second power is 100, third power is 1,000, then 10,000, see? So 30-second power would be all those zeros.
Very minimal.
Yeah, yeah. And they said that it would take, I forgot, light years, 186,000 miles a second. It would take gazillion light years of lead to stop it. So we'll never be able to capture a neutrino. He'll always be taking off with energy. We don't know where he goes.
Right.
And this was a scientific theory. But see, it's like you said when we first visited, that it's beyond our understanding. To make it work, we just have to come up with a picture that makes some sense, you know?
Yeah.
And, but I think it's part of our destiny not to have all the answers, you know, to keep searching.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's wonderful, man. I'm glad you schooling me. I like that's wonderful, man. Thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah,
You're so
yeah.
welcome.
That's what I know is the nature of faith, man.
Yeah, that's right. And we have to remember, I believe, and everybody believes, whatever it is they hold dear to them by choice. I believe because I choose to believe.